Welcome back to the Nutrition Made Simple podcast, powered by Healthy Steps Nutrition. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, our mission is to empower 1 million people to take control of their health one step at a time so they can prevent and reverse chronic disease. My name is Nicole Aucoin, and I'm the founder of Healthy Steps Nutrition, home of CrossFit HSN and HSN Mentoring. In this podcast, you are going to learn how to take one step at a time so that you can make health a way of life. I am so excited about this week's podcast episode. Avery Quinn has an incredible story. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2019, went through double mastectomy and a slew of different treatments. She came on board with HSN as a nutrition client through our Compete for a Cure partnership. Compete for a Cure is an organization, nonprofit, benefiting women who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. They provide nutrition coaching through HSN, mental health help with one of our partners, Dr. Christina Migliara, and so much more. It's an absolutely incredible organization. I thought it'd be really interesting to have her come on and just talk about her journey with being diagnosed with breast cancer and what she got or the lack of support in regards to nutrition and wellness during her treatment. We talked about how she did with nutrition coaching in the 12-week scholarship program. It is an incredible program. I am so excited to just share a little bit of information about that program right now. Did you know that HSN has a partnership with Compete for a Cure? Through this partnership, women who have been diagnosed with breast cancer, either currently going through treatment or who are done with treatment, if you've had a past diagnosis with breast cancer, you can actually qualify for 12 weeks of individualized nutrition coaching with our licensed registered dietitians completely free. It's an incredible partnership, and I know from personal experience working as a dietitian in the hospital that cancer patients don't get the support that they need in regards to nutrition. Doctors are focused on conventional treatments, and oftentimes we're missing some pieces of the puzzle to help with recovery and how people are feeling throughout treatment and beyond. So if you know someone that's been diagnosed with breast cancer or you have, please click the link below, fill out the grant application through Compete for a Cure. And once you are approved, then you will be booking a discovery call with us at HSN and we will enroll you in the program. It is completely free, an incredible partnership. So excited to be working with Compete for a Cure. All right, let's dive into this episode with Avery. Avery, welcome to the Nutrition Made Simple podcast. I'm so excited to have you on today.
Thank you, Nicole. I'm so happy to be here.
You just wrapped up the 12-week scholarship program that we have with Compete for a Cure, which is a foundation and nonprofit, basically giving back to people that have been diagnosed with breast cancer, either currently going through treatment or past treatment. You were diagnosed a few years ago, so you're not technically, you're done with the initial treatment stage.
I am, yes.
Have some stuff that you're doing. Tell me a little bit about, well, first, let's start with Compete for a Cure. How did you hear about it?
Scrolling Instagram.
Okay.
I came across the Girls Gone RX page, which led me to Compete for a Cure. And I was blown away by everything Lindsay's got out there for people like us surviving and thriving.
She is such an incredible human. And, just like my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer and ended up passing away. Her mom was diagnosed and was like, all right, there is a reason we're going to turn all of this pain into purpose and be able to do some really cool things. So I'm so excited that you were able to connect with her in the program. So let's actually take a few steps back. So you were diagnosed with breast cancer in 2019. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. When you were diagnosed, talk to me a little bit about the treatment side, like the conventional treatment. What kind of support were you given beyond the surgery, the radiation, the chemo? Like, what did it look like for you as a human and as a person as you were going through that treatment?
Well, unfortunately, it looked very like take a number. There was not a lot of personalization. There was not a lot of suggestions on how to cope with anything, how to get better, how to stay healthy. It was literally just they'd call me back and be like, okay, here's your shot. Um, an ice pack, see you later. And there was nothing provided to help me how to stay healthy. Here's how to feel better. Eat your veggies, do all this kind of stuff, which all plays into your mental health and how you heal. And there was none of that offered at all.
Yeah, when I worked at the hospital, I saw something similar, right? It was like, come in, manage the symptoms that you have,
Mhm.
but in regards to anything outside of those specific symptoms and things like prioritizing nutrition, daily movement, mindset, sleep, all these other factors that are ultimately helping you heal better or
Yes.
slowing down the progress, they weren't really addressed in an appropriate way. But you did your own research on the side and started figuring out, like, okay, what can I do in regards to nutrition? What were the things that initially, before you started HSN, what were some of the things that initially stood out to you that you started doing during treatment and since you've been diagnosed in 2019?
Right. Well, one thing I learned was when you get a trigger, address it.
Okay.
Don't just like push it away. It does nothing to get just crammed back into the back of your head. Like address it and get it out of your system. Another thing I learned to do was just to get outside, like, and to quit living in the past. I would refer to everything as like, well, before I had breast cancer, when a good friend of mine told me, I don't know why you keep going back to before because your body was compromised at that time. It's out of you now. Like, this is the time to focus on. And so that just really helped me was just stop living in the past. It's done. I'm through it. And let's just start, making some good choices and changing up everything in the house and looking at life from a whole new perspective of what can I do to make each day a better day.
I love that. And you have kids, you
Yes, I have two
homeschool them.
boys. Yes.
Okay. So talk to me about how the healthy habits and the things that you're doing now have trickled down to impact your family.
Well, it's actually really cool as a mom whenever you get to see your kids take some of your good habits and not just all your bad habits, but they know, like, they like to do the rebounder, they like to do the red light therapy, they like all of the things that I've started incorporating because I was trying to squeeze everything in before they woke up. Whenever Brittany was like, hey, doesn't all have to be first thing in the morning as soon as your feet hit the ground, like space it out throughout the day. And that's been cool because they've got to see the habits I'm doing throughout the day versus just trying to get it all in before they wake up. That really helped breaking it up throughout the day.
I love it. And they probably, just as you said, they probably like, all right, well, mom's doing it. I'm going to do it too.
Yes, yes. My youngest went out to walk on the treadmill yesterday. So yeah, they pick up on it. It's really fun to see.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, let's kind of dive into this nutrition coaching experience that you had. So, with the Compete for a Cure scholarship, for those of you guys who are listening, and you're not sure, you haven't heard about it, we partnered, Healthy Steps Nutrition partnered with Compete for a Cure to do a 12-week nutrition coaching scholarship where people who've been diagnosed with breast cancer in any stage of treatment can work with one of our licensed registered dietitians. So what happens? You do an initial consultation, you have calls with her every other week, and then there's ongoing support, check-ins through the app. You've got videos, all of the support, really focusing on those four pillars, right? Nutrition, mindset, stress management, sleep, and daily movement. Um, let's talk about your experience. What was your experience going through that compared to maybe some things that you did in the past?
Yes, well, when I got the email that Compete for a Cure was teaming up with you guys, I was super excited because I've worked with a coach in the past and they just didn't know how to handle breast cancer survivors. Um, there's a lot going on with our bodies, and a lot going on with our minds. So when I found out that there was a company that was like, hey, we want to help specifically these ladies, that really blessed me. And getting to meet Brittany through the Zoom calls and check-ins, her heart is for her people. She lives out what she's teaching you, and she just has so much joy, but she also holds you accountable. Like, I love that. I love that she was like, hey, you didn't do that great on your veggies this week. Is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, I just slacked off. And she's like, well, let's do better. And it was like like a kind, great way that she handled it. Um, but I loved working with her. She taught me so many things from habit tracking to habit building to the plate method that just made everything work so much better for me as a mom and a wife. Um, and every day it's just very applicable.
Amazing. And it sounds like even just integrating the habits in front of the kids too, so it wasn't trying to pack everything in outside of the time that you're spending with them, trickled
Right.
down to everyone else as well.
Yes, and even like my husband and the kids, because I was trying to eat so many extra veggies, we did veggie trays for the kids and veggie packets for my husband, and the kids would pack up Ziploc baggies full of vegetables for them that they couldn't have anything packaged in the pantry until the Ziploc baggie full of veggies was eaten for the day. And they loved being a part of all of that. It was really fun.
Oh, that's amazing. And they probably felt empowered doing the packing themselves too. Like I get to
Yes.
pick what veggies that I'm putting in
Yep.
this, not just
Yep.
here's the thing, you have to eat it. Um,
Exactly. Yes.
I know one of the things that you worked on with Brittany was around mindset and stress management. How did that help you?
It has played into every day for me, all day. I had no idea how much I was thinking so negatively about myself and my process and my hormones and my past. So Brittany, I would write down in the morning like affirmations, and I felt so much better going through my day after telling myself, like, you are happy, you are healthy, you are healed. That really helped my mindset. And I felt like I could see changes happening that I hadn't seen in 4 years because I started believing it because Brittany was telling me, like, hey, as long as you have these thoughts, you're kind of going to be stuck in those thoughts and you can't move past them unless you change them. And it gives me chills. It really, really helped me so much to just start recognizing what I was thinking and change that.
That's amazing. And it's interesting. We look at the relationship we have with our kids, and we're so easily able to speak life into them. And we need people as adults to speak life into us
So,
just
yes,
so that we can, truly start believing those things and ultimately live out a more fulfilled life. So I'm so happy that those affirmations helped you to be
I
able to
love it.
really believe. I'm sure that's a habit that you'll carry on, and
Yes.
goodness, that hopefully trickles down to your kids too. I know um, one of the people, John Acuff, he wrote soundtracks. I don't know if you read that book, but he wrote the same similar type of book with his kids for kids and teens, all talking about positive affirmations and speaking positively the thoughts that are going on in your head. And when they're
Right.
not, how to stop it and redirect and get into a better
Yes.
headspace. So
I'll
it's
have to check that out.
it's cool to be able to like do it as a parent, but then realize, no, I actually need to be talking about this with my kids too, so that they can start these habits earlier than 37 years old.
Especially when they're still young and not on social media, because once social media starts showing you things and talking to you about things, it really does play into how you view yourself. So if we can give the kids, if I can establish this foundation now that I have, thanks to you guys, and I can get them going on it before they even get exposed to that kind of stuff going out in the world. So that's definitely, it's going to trickle through the whole family.
Absolutely. I love that. Let's talk about learnings about yourself. You talked a lot about your mindset. What were some of the other things you learned about yourself during the 12-week nutrition coaching experience that you had with Brittany?
I learned that a lot of the things I was dealing with during the day, with like getting tired in the afternoon, and even really just kind of finding joy, like the food I was eating was not fueling me and helping me feel the best that I could. Um, and I really loved learning how to incorporate the vegetables in every single meal. And that was one of the biggest takeaways for me was how much better I felt getting in all those veggies through the day and using that as a snack.
I love that. You also were doing some continuous glucose monitoring with your holistic
Yes.
doctor before. Although you weren't or are not diagnosed with diabetes, you wanted to have a closer inside look on your blood sugars and what was going on. I know that was something that you addressed with Brittany as well, and she kind of helped you. What were some of the things that stood out to you in that experience, tracking your blood sugar and seeing how what you were eating was happening on the inside of your body.
Right. So that is a really fascinating thing, the continuous glucose monitor. I loved knowing that whenever I woke up, that my body was ready for fuel or sip on some more water and wait just a little bit, get some movement in. I loved seeing what my numbers were. So I knew like, okay, yes, we're ready to eat. Or no, you know what, let's hold off a little bit. We're still processing breakfast or lunch. But one of the things that I really like about the glucose monitor was if I was getting like a headache, instead of reaching for, the acetaminophen, I would check my glucose and be like, wow, it has really dropped. I just, as a mom, got busy, didn't eat something. And so learning what the symptoms were, like a lot of my, headaches or fatigue and stuff was glucose related, even though I don't have any form, of diabetes. It was really cool to get to learn, okay, wow, I just need food. um, Not medicine. Food is medicine, right? So it was really cool to learn what those numbers mean and how to help my body fuel up or wait a minute until it's ready to process it.
I love that. That's amazing. And it's cool to be able to experience that before you get to a point where you have to be on medication or you have blood sugar issues. And we know that when you look at chronic disease, many of them are caused or worsened by elevated blood sugar. So if we can be able to understand what's going on, identify the symptoms of high or low blood sugar and be able to feel that and make adjustments, it's going to help us be able to prevent and sometimes reverse chronic disease. I think one of my biggest takeaways with that experience was just understanding, okay, if I go for a 10 to 15-minute walk after I eat, my blood sugar is managed so much better and so much faster because your body's able to process that glucose that you eat with meals, which is really cool.
Yes, and even the vegetables, the plate method,
Mm-hmm.
like the vegetables before you eat anything else,
Mm-hmm.
makes it really helps balance your glucose. And I wish the whole world could get access to one and just kind of see, like, wear it for 14 days and just see how much body better your body responds to, like you said, movement and the vegetables. It's really fascinating.
I love that. Um, Kind of shifting gears here. What would you say? Let's say someone's listening to this podcast and they were diagnosed with breast cancer at some point in their life and like, hey, the Compete for a Cure nutrition coaching scholarship is something that I do qualify. What would you say to those who can qualify or people that are listening to this podcast and are like, my mom, my sister, my neighbor could qualify? Yeah, what would you say to them?
To look into it for sure. Reach out to Lindsay, reach out to Compete for a Cure. This is their like giving back to society, and they want you to email them. They want you to be a part of this. The positivity around the whole Compete for a Cure is focused on getting healthy, getting stronger versus, oh, we were sick. Oh, um, let's not stay in that. Let's just overcome this and get stronger, get healthier, get better. So I would definitely encourage anybody that knows somebody to reach out to Compete for a Cure. And even if you're not ready to work with a coach, I would strongly suggest jumping in anyways. You guys make it so doable for everybody. And y'all are so kind about all of it that there's no judgment on when I would tell Brittany, like, hey, I had a really rough week. Like mentally, it was really hard. There was never like, well, okay, and it was like, well, let's talk about it. Let's see, where did you take your walks? Did you eat your vegetables? How was your food this week? And I never ever felt judged by her. So I would say reach out to Compete for a Cure, get in on what they're doing, definitely, because you can only get better. You can only do better. And I think that standing with people that are cheering you on is the best place to be.
I love that. You guys have such an incredible community supporting each other. And I know it's just the beginning for Compete for a Cure and you guys and all the impact that you'll have to support others that are in the same journey and walking through this. Any final thoughts as we wrap up the podcast today for listeners?
I don't think so. I'm just really grateful that I got to work with you guys. Like I said, Brittany was so kind. And even when I went in for my initial interview with you guys, I was talking to your husband, Jason, And, I was just kind of frustrated. I was like, man, I just really want the help from you guys because I can't seem to kind of get out of this funk, even though I work out and I eat right and all these things. And Jason was like, well, have you ever thought about if you weren't doing these things, where you would be? And we really get wrapped up in what we're not doing versus what we are doing. And all the little things really add up and help. And I think about that all the time. Um, so even just in the initial interview with you guys, y'all changed my perspective. And I'm very grateful for Compete for a Cure and Healthy Steps Nutrition.
Oh, Avery, well, I'm so glad that we were able to connect with you and walk alongside you. And I know your story is going to inspire other people. So thank you for having the courage to come on the podcast and share your story. And I'm excited to continue to cheer you on as you continue to get healthier yourself as well as support your family.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Avery's story is so incredible. She's done a lot of research on her own in regards to nutrition, but with the help of HSN, she's been able to make nutrition a little bit easier, take out some of the noise, and also prioritize her stress and sleep, other pillars of a holistic framework. Becoming the best and healthiest version of yourself isn't just about what you eat or going to the gym a few hours a week. We have to look at that holistic approach, addressing stress management, mindset, sleep, support system, all of these aspects. What I love about Avery's story is that all of these healthy habits that she worked on for herself first with Brittany, one of the dietitians here at HSN, have now trickled down to things that her family is implementing. Her kids are learning these healthy habits and lifestyle at such a young age and are going to grow up understanding the importance of taking care of your body. As a mom, I know that I want to set the best example for my kids, and eating healthy isn't a punishment. It's actually helping us take care of our bodies and teaching our kids those habits at a young age by practicing what we preach and modeling those behaviors first is only going to increase buy-in. So if you want to learn more about the Compete for a Cure and HSN partnership, please click the link below. We are so excited to partner with them. This partnership allows people who've been diagnosed with breast cancer to get nutrition coaching help, one-on-one coaching, initial consultations, calls every other week with a licensed registered dietitian to help you make health a way of life and manage some of the side effects that you might have from medications and during treatment. So super excited about this partnership. If you know someone who's been diagnosed with breast cancer, please forward this episode to them. You never know who could use a little word of encouragement. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure that you subscribe, leave us a review, and we'll see you back here next week.